Greetings. Welcome to today's Denarius. I'm Ron Thomas, and yes, hey, I'm taking my first attempt at vlogging today. Decided to come out to Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery in Point Loma, California. Actually, really, many people say it's just San Diego, and it pretty well is, but Point Loma is truly its own entity. I actually came here today. One is I like to do Memorial Day tribute every year on 2 days Denarius. I started one last year. I'm doing it again. Also, I have in my hand this flag. I'm going to take you down and all the way to the end of the cemetery and get a picture and plant this flag at the grave of one Robert Hollenbaugh, World War II veteran who took part in the famous battle off Samar in October 25th, 1944. But there are other famous names who are buried here too. One is, if you like Marine Corps history, Victor Krulak, very important name. I actually knew his son. His son was a Navy chaplain, and so I always have a privilege to have time to get to know him. His dad, never saw him, but certainly his son was a good man, good minister, and understood naval chaplaincy very well. Also, another one famous name here is Staff Sergeant Rafael Peralta. If I can find the graves, this is so big that I could stop by, but let you know, you could go Google Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery. Brief history, it's over 100 years old, and I'm standing really near the older section of the cemetery. If you see the obelisk in the distance behind me, that's the USS Bennington Memorial. There was a ship explosion when they were going out on a rescue mission. I think it was 1918, around that area. And a boiler exploded and killed around 62 of the sailors, half the crew pretty much. Big tragedy. And their remains are buried in that section over by the obelisk. This is the older part of the cemetery. 77 acres. Very big, very large cemetery, but it is full now, and the Miramar National Cemetery up in Miramar, California, now the burials for service members, unless they have reserved spots, whatever few are left here at Rosecrans, are buried up at Miramar. So I'm ready to take this tour. Welcome to 2 days Denarius. I'm Ron Thomas, and for 2021, let's once again honor our heroes. As I walk here behind me, this is the area where they have the annual ceremonies, platform there. You see a plaque there. Behind it too, I'll have adjust the lens here a little bit, but that plaque is the Gettysburg Address. In fact, I have seen that at other national cemeteries, that they will put the Gettysburg Address there too. So I think that might be a common thing that they do. But this is the platform. This is the stage, the area where they have Memorial Day services honoring the fallen every year here at Fort Rosecrans. You just get a little wider view of the cemetery behind me. Like I say, this is not a big section as I walk around here. Now behind me is, you can see the gate. And you can also see the administrative building here. Flags that have staff. I am not doing this on Memorial Day, but I'm pretty close. But that's where you can find names in the registry in there. Or if you have any questions, they have office staff in there as well. Very courteous people. I've dealt with them before. Of course, you see the entry is kind of draped in flags. This is an older cemetery. I'll get a better picture of San Diego down the cliff here in a little bit, so I better behave myself and not let the battery run out on me. That's one thing about a Canon M50. Actually, I can tell you, let me tell you what I'm shooting with today. My Canon M50 camera, great YouTube channel. I have a Rode Video microphone. I'm using that. I have a fur ball on it because it gets very windy up here all the time. Very windy. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. I want you to see some of the things that happen around Memorial Day. And you can see that wall back there and hopefully behind me. and you can see people, you know, always visiting loved ones, honoring mothers, dads, sisters, brothers, all those who are buried here. It can be a very, very solemn, and then be solemn when you're in the National Cemetery. Have decorum. You say, well, what are you wearing a hat for? Well, I can wear a hat when I do this. This is okay. Now, if I was taking part in a ceremony, certainly, if I was standing at a ceremony as a visitor, I would not wear a hat. But if I were participating in a ceremony, I would be wearing a hat. Hopefully I said that right. Let's just say, you know, be respectful at all times to what they call for. But you can wear a hat on normal visits. That's okay. Just at times when you visit ceremonies or the national anthem's played, take it off, okay? Do not keep it on. When you enter Fort Rosecrans, like I said, it's an older cemetery. There's the sign behind me to the entry. Some other ones have bigger signs to them, but I say an older cemetery isn't going to have that. I'll give you a better look up the hill here. You can see, there we go. You got my big head, but I wanted you to get a better look. Looks a little saturated. Let me see if I can get you some focus. Focus, there you go. How do you like that? There. I'll be a little darker, but there you can see behind me, you see those three monuments there. One of them is to the USS Wasp that was sunk in World War II. But it is a nice entry, beautiful, whoops, beautiful entryway. I don't have any problem having to adjust this along the way. All right, well, I'm going to step off for a little bit because I'm going to go to the larger part. I got a I have a long walk, long walk ahead of me. Hopefully I can get this thing fixed. All right, so like I said, this is my first time blogging. I need you guys to be forgiving today, but I'm enjoying this. I want to get out and do more vlogging. It's one of the reasons why I got this wonderful new lens. Oh yeah, to continue what I'm shooting with today, I told you about the camera. I'm shooting with a variable, what's called ND, neutral density filter. You have to. Even in the clouds, you have to do that in San Diego. Now look behind me, okay? This cemetery is really huge. I mean, so far we've scratched the surface. Not as big as Arlington, I'm sure. But when I get over that hill, I'll give another back shot here, and you'll really appreciate how large a cemetery this is. And we gotta walk. Now, I have the furball on the mic to keep the wind's windy. So hopefully this thing's doing its job. Hopefully. Okay, I'll turn around here, for instance, here in a second. And again, show you. Oh, but I need to show you this. Look behind me. That's the Pacific Ocean. That is. And here in a little bit, I'll get you a picture of the San Diego. Got a great overview. I just have to find the right spot, and I will find it. It's just a little bit down the way here. But as I turn around here, you can get a visual a little bit that the cemetery is really huge. Okay, I use a Joby 3K tripod, and that's what I'm holding the camera up on. Hold it up and out. My lens is a Canon 11 millimeter by 22 millimeter, which is great for this because you can see all the things behind me real well. But I can also be in the video talking while you get to see what I'm shooting and stuff. Okay, I'm going to turn around here so you can get a better picture of how large Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery is. Look at that down there. You can see the rows. You can see the rows way out there. Let's see, I can pull it in a little bit. There you go. You know what? I got to walk all that. I have to walk all that. But hey, I don't mind. Bob Hollenbaugh is buried all the way at the end. Now, I did want to tell you too about another character who's buried here is Clifton Sprague. You're going to say, well, who's Clifton Sprague? I talked to you a little bit about the battle. Let's get this thing lighter. Forgive me of this. Hopefully I'll edit it out. Clifton Sprague, who actually is, I don't know the exact mark where his grave is, but he is the man who led Taffy-3 Squadron in the battle off Samar. But he's buried somewhere in that large area down there. So, okay, but back to this 3K Joby tripod, best tripod around. It has many uses, much versatility. The connectors and stuff, you could spin around a fence post, things like that. It's a highly versatile one. It's just very good. I love it. I can use it in restaurants. It's Joby 3K. If you ever look to do this, and I'd never talked to you guys about YouTube, but Canon M50 is a perfect camera for this, and it's not super high dollar. The 11x22 millimeter is a very good lens for this. You don't need anything but like a little Rode video microphone to do this. So connects with the camera M50, works with it really well. Make sure you get neutral density filters, because you'll probably find yourself needing them. So somewhere along the way, you can see some of the rows here. I'm going to have to work my way over to the other side. But I do want to show you the Taffy-3 Memorial when I get to that. I'm very familiar with that spot, and like I said, in 2008 when I was visiting this cemetery, that's when I ran into Bob Hollenbaugh. Okay, behind me, you can see the ossuary walls are everywhere, or columbarium, I think that's how you say the word, but here at Fort Rosecrans, they're really everywhere, so you'll see them out there. I'll probably change over to what's called a pancake lens. I have a Canon 22 millimeter f2 lens with me as well. I have that to take up close-ups and even some regular pictures. Now here, as I turn around here, you can get a look at this. You know, I've been to cemeteries. National Cemetery of the Pacific in Hawaii and this one, two of the most beautiful cemeteries you'll ever see, really. But it's always windy up here. You know, like I said, I think I'm preventing you from hearing the wind, but if I did not have that on, it would be a problem right now, believe me. So, okay, well, I'm going to forge ahead on this trip here, so I wanted to get you some little looks around to see what the Fort Rosecrans is all about. Now, Fort Rosecrans was named after General Rosecrans, Civil War general. Kind of had a spotty record, but he did something out here to ultimately inherit the name. First name of the cemetery actually was named after the Bennington, but sometime thereafter they renamed it, or named it. I can't remember all the exact details, so forgive me on that. But they named it after General Rosecrans. And it's been, like I said, it's been here over 100 years old. So as we move along here, we're actually getting closer to the Taffy-3 Memorial. I'm definitely going to take you to that place. That's definitely a heroic spot that I want to make you familiar with. That's actually the place where Bob Hollenbaugh at the Taffy-3 Memorial, where I met him, and you'll see the picture of that of me with Bob. And what an honor to meet this good man. What a wonderful man he was. He's from Indiana. I got his obituary here, so it takes some time to read it. I have posted it in there. Just go ahead and freeze the video and take a look and a read of who Bob Hollenbaugh was and what he was all about. I really have just an amazing view of the Pacific Ocean behind me right now. I do hope that this is coming in well. But you can look down this hill. This just amazing beauty up here at Fort Rosecrans. You know, we honor, and somewhere in this section over here where I'm walking, that's on my left, Clifton Sprague is somewhere out there in that area. And like I said, he was the admiral who was in charge of the battle. It was Admiral Sprague, 3 destroyers, and 3 destroyer escorts, and 6 jeep carriers, they called them. They weren't real aircraft carriers. They were tankers that were converted to carriers so we can get some more planes in the action. Essentially, it was just those ships against the entire center force coming through the San Bernardino Strait around 25 October 1944. And then the battle came. And what a battle it was. Admiral Kurita was in charge of the center force. You look at the ocean behind there. I mean, like I said, the beauty here is amazing. It really is. You know, what a great place to honor those who have served. I have to tell you, when I visit these cemeteries, there's a special feeling that comes inside me. It really is. I don't know, I can't explain it, but you feel the honor. You feel something when you visit any national cemetery. I do like writing reviews on them. But I'll tell you what, when Memorial Day comes, this place will be filled with friends and stuff honoring their lost loved ones. You know, come visit one. People need to, you know, it's a sad thing that's happened with Memorial Day. I'm walking in a darker area now, so the picture's going to probably go a little darker. But don't worry, when I get back, I'll get in the light here in a little bit. This ND filter is, oh, there we go, I got me. Take a little time here, be patient. I have to kind of adjust as I go. I'm coming back to the other side now, and here's where I get near the Taffy-3 Memorial area. I'll turn around and give you a shot. Oh well, I think overall we've done pretty good on this, but I'm going to give you a shot of the San Diego behind me too. The other side is the Pacific Ocean. You may as well get a look at San Diego. Now, this is an important area here. I hope you can see the little bit of San Diego behind me, but don't worry, we will get there. But this is the area where the Taffy-3 Memorial is. It's also the area where they do burials, committals. And I'm going to show that to you now, but if you look now, see, like I say, it's a very large cemetery. We have taken a pretty good walk. So now we're going to walk over there and I'll show you the memorial Taffy-3 where I met Bob, and the burials area. Okay, behind me where I'm standing at the moment is the funerals honors area. I can give you a closer look, but this is where service members, family members, like spouses, family members who are permitted to be buried here at the cemetery. This is where the funeral honors. I'll try to get you a better look at that. Back up a little bit too. This is where they're performed. Some of my people who watch this may have been to these before. Another solemn time where we honor those who have served. Also behind me, you can get another look. I said at the immensity, the enormity of the size of this cemetery, and the graves are certainly also back in there behind me. But I want to walk over to one other place as well. This is what I told you, the place where I met, the spot where I met Bob Hollenbaugh back in Memorial Day. It was Memorial Day 2008 where I met this good man. And he told me about the ship. He told me what happened. He was very gracious, telling me the story about what happened to USS Johnston. Talked to me about Commander Ernest Evans. Ernest Evans. He was the man on the day that Johnston was commissioned. That's DD-557. He was wearing his hat that day. But the day the ship was commissioned, he gave a speech. He said, "You know what? This is a fighting ship, and I intend to fight. We go into battle. He basically said he'd be the first to go. If you don't want to be on my ship, now's the time to get off." And you know, in the Battle off Samar, when he had his opportunity, he took it. He led his destroyer, first ship to move aggressively on the Japanese. Managed to fire a spread of 10 torpedoes when he got close enough to the ships under heavy fire. Also provided a smoke screen. On this memorial behind me, the Samuel B. Roberts and the USS Hull are also honored here. Those were the 3 destroyers. All 3 were sunk, but all 3 did some very much intimidated the Japanese force. They thought they were fighting against Halsey. I mean, it was amazing what they did, and Admiral Kurita ultimately turned his ships around after around 2.5 hours of fighting. He had enough. But he actually could have gone through them like a knife through butter, through all those ships. And their goal was to damage the landing at Leyte, to put a big hurt on General MacArthur, on the forces there at that landing. For some unknown reason, he turned around, but behind me right now, you can see the Taffy-3 Memorial. I've visited here many times. A wonderful tribute. It's kind of worn. It needs to be. One thing about this area out here in Point Loma, it's always windy, and when the weather gets bad, it causes erosions to the monuments. And this one, the way it's facing, the wind direction, and when the bad weather comes, it hits straight on here. So it has done some wear and tear on the names. I could take you by there and get you a closer look. I got to keep my mouth close. See, look at some of the names are virtually worn off. As you see the USS Johnston. You see the USS Johnson here. Some of the names are very well worn off, and that's due to the erosion through the years. And this monument was put in the 1990s sometime, so you can see what the weather damage can do. I know somewhere on here is the name Ernest Evans. Oh, there he is right here. Ernest E. Evans. He was the man, commander. Ernest Evans received the Medal of Honor posthumously for his actions. And reading back in the book, Last Stand of the Tin Can Sailors, it tells the story of what these guys did that day. Nobody really knows what happened with Ernest Evans. He didn't survive the battle. Some thought he made it in a lifeboat, but apparently he didn't. So it's really a mystery of what happened to Commander Evans. But he is and was a true hero to the max. But this is the Taffy-3 Memorial area. Also, it's a memorial to the USS Gambier Bay, which was sunk in the battle. One of those ships, may have been the Gambier Bay, was hit. First kamikaze strike in World War II. I don't know which ship it was, but let me take a look at these other ones. But the names here are from some of the other ships. White Plains, but it might have been the Gambier Bay, Gambier Bay that was hit. But these all here are memorials, monuments to Taffy-3. Many of these military cemeteries, let's get you a little better picture there. Many of these military cemeteries have monuments in honor of battles, the battles fought. This battle here took place in the Philippine Sea near the San Bernardino Strait. The Japanese forces surprised because Admiral Halsey thought they had turned around and retreated from the battle, but actually Kurita kind of reorganized after the first night of fighting, took his ships to the north because he wanted to chase down carriers, and took everybody except that essentially that Jeep carrier, that Taffy-3 squadron. And next thing you know, surprise, surprise, the next morning, here comes Admiral Kurita. The center force is what they called it. There was a northern force, a center force, and a southern force. Night before, the southern force was just creamed by our, they were creamed by the our ships, led by Admiral Kincaid. But then when they were coming out of San Bernardino, while Halsey was chasing carriers to the north, these guys put up one of the most heroic fights in all of naval history. You know, levels of Trafalgar? Yeah, I would say so. It was epic. Read the book Last Stand of the Tin Can Sailors by James Hornfisher. You read about that story of these guys and you make your mind up. All right. Well, I'm going to head down to the other part as I continue to work my way to the resting place of Bob Hollenbaugh and his wife. Been taking some photos here for a little bit. Hey, I'm on the long walk toward Bob's grave here at Fort Rosecrans. You can see I got a little ways to go yet. I'm not too far from it now, but I wanted to get this beautiful scenic picture behind me for you. Again, what area is not scenic around here at Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery? But I'm going to go ahead and walk up a little bit. You'll see the back. But I'll walk up here a little forward and then do another reset, because as I'm turning the corner here, I see I still have a ways to go. Like I said, he is completely at the other end of this cemetery. And I'll go ahead and do a turnaround again. You can get an idea looking behind me. You can see there's still more section here. So it's a good walk. It really is. But I'm going to continue going on here. But again, you can look behind me too, and you see the wall. You know, they made many walls here, ossuary walls. And you can also see, as I lift up here, many of these, and you can see them in the background as I walk, the rows of flag. These are also cremation remains as well here. There are many, many here. I'll tell you what, with this cemetery, they did everything they could in honoring the fallen to make means to inter as many as possible. Okay, let me get you another. Seeing down at the end, you can see at the end there, that's the end. I'll be reaching his grave soon, so be able to take my time today to honor a friend that I got to meet back in 2008. Well, friends, I'm back, and I took a little finding. I hadn't been here in a while, but there's a little bit of cemetery left, as you see over there. And right now I am at the grave of Robert Hollenbaugh. I'm going to get up here and show you. He's actually buried right at the edge of one of the sections here. He and his wife Janice. I think you can look down and see his grave there. And it's right here. I'm trying to keep my mouth close to the mic. Well, Bob Hollenbaugh was a good man. He was a good man, and the harrowing day that they went through. He was a bosun's mate, manning gun 54 on the USS Johnston. Actually, in the story, it lost power because the Japanese, their shells from their ships were hitting the Johnston big time. And they actually, they knew their guns, they knew their system so well that even when the electrical system went out, they were doing it the old-fashioned way by hand. And Bob said that, you know, he created his own war with the Japanese, almost like the Battle of Trafalgar. That's quoted in the book. Well, it's true. They did whatever they could to keep that ship firing at the Japanese ships. I mean, their 5-inch guns, you understand, they had 14-inch shells coming their way. They had whatever the Japanese could throw at them from their cruisers and DDGs. Not DDGs, but their destroyers were coming their way. But the Johnston fought for 2.5 hours, fought as long as it could, hung in there. And finally the ship was shelled so bad it couldn't move. And when a ship can't move, it's a sitting duck. And the Johnston was, and I can't tell you, there were like 357 in that crew and 186 died. He lost many friends. He lost many friends that day. In fact, in the book, you'll see that he had to walk over the bodies of many of them. In there, one time it talks about him climbing down the ladder, and then after climbing down that ladder, he landed around a bunch of the dead bodies. You know, that was a harrowing day. You never forget stuff like that, friends. You honor your heroes. These people, these men in World War II, so many buried here, Some gave the last full measure of devotion. Some went on to live good lives like Bob here. But you know what? They never forgot that. That was such a traumatic experience. You never forget that. So honor your heroes. And I want to do that now because I brought Bob this flag. And he does have a flag here, as you saw. But I'm going to go ahead and leave one too. This one's for me. And in fact, my flag's bigger. Well, I think it is. Maybe it's not. But I may have a hard time getting it in because at least those ones are pointed and mine's not. So I'm going to have to put this in, maybe with both hands. We'll see. Oh, I'm getting it in, believe it or not. All right, let's see if I can't get this on the video, but it's okay. It's okay. All right. I see down below, I've got it on there. It's under the grave and all these heroes here. You know, you just look down here. You honor all your heroes, friends. Well, this is my own special way of honoring Memorial Day this year. Say thank you to a special friend that I had the privilege of meeting for 3 hours. And tell you what, it was more than worth the walk. I encourage my friends, you get out there on Memorial Day, take a walk through the nearest national cemetery your way. Bring something with you. Honor somebody when you go. Bring some coins. Read about them ahead, and you can find some of the names of some of the famous military people, personalities that are buried in these national cemeteries. Get to know maybe a little bit of its history. I assure you it's very rich. It's very worthy of our respect. I have to tell you, I so much appreciate what these World War II heroes did. I appreciate Vietnam veterans. I appreciate Korean veterans. All of those who are still living and gave that price to sacrifice for freedom because they believed what our nation is about. Well, where are we today? This is not a lesson on that. But I do want to encourage you, like I said, go visit a local national cemetery, the one nearest to you, and say thank you to the veterans. And when you go, like I said, decorum matters. You know, some of the people in the cemeteries service members lost their lives. And some of them are spouses visiting. Sometimes I've seen them have picnics here. I've seen them do different things to honor their lost loved one. But, you know, they actually like to be talked to there. They actually like to be thanked. Don't be afraid to talk to one of them and tell them we're grateful for what the person you're honoring here today did for us. So I've talked to them many times, and nobody has ever said anything harsh to me. I assure you they won't to you either. So let us be thankful. Let us be thankful to God, most of all, that He gave people that had the courage, the bravery to stand up for something true that was right and something that brought a lot of good in the world and certainly kept America free. All right, well, having said all that, I want to say thank you for watching today's Denarius 2021 Memorial Day edition. And again, get out there on Memorial Day, visit, and when you do, give respect and give the honor that all of our service members deserve.